It's time to dad.
Hey, welcome back to Time to Dad, folks. Time for another episode of Dads talking about dad stuff. We're going to focus a little bit on our better halves, our anniversary ideas, and how we met and that kind of thing. Joining us are Nick and Joe, and myself, Luke. Welcome home, folks.
What's up?
Yo.
Doing great.
My anniversary is coming up in a little over a week, so we're going to throw out some ideas for what we're going to do. We already got the babysitter booked, and I feel like, we've done a ton of date nights where we go for dinner or a movie or something. I wanted to do something a little more special, a little different. It's 9 years.
Sunset Dolphin Cruise.
There you go.
Oh, episode over. We're done. Thanks, guys.
Rent yourself a little private yacht for the night.
Oh, actually, bad idea. We met on yachts.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you're familiar with the boating world.
That's true. I forgot you did that. You did that. Like, what's that show?
Below Deck.
No, oh my god, that comes up on my feed, and it's so cringy. I have to watch it.
Some of it's actors, though, man.
Is it? I believe some of those people are.
One of my best friends was a guest on the show. She had to be the difficult guest kind of thing. And they're literally telling her, like, be a bitch to them. And she's like,
oh, is it all like 100% staged shit?
Well, they are encouraged to behave in certain ways, but it's up to them as to what they do.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
I don't think I've actually watched the one with her on it. But yeah, she's like, a lot of it is just contrived and put on. But a lot of it is like, when you watch it, like, that's what the guests do, or that's how some of the crew members are.
Yeah, I'm sure. They're like, all right, you're going to be the guest that's really drunk.
Yeah, you're going to be the drunk guy that falls off the deck of the boat.
The boat. Like, again, that was me last week.
That's funny.
So wait, when's your anniversary?
August 30th.
30th? All right, so I'm September 8th. Nick?
What'd you say? My date? September?
Yeah.
26th.
Awesome. Look at that.
All right, so we're all coming up. All right, good. So, Luke, you're going to do the dolphin cruise. You're going to do the dolphin cruise, and if your wife doesn't like it, then I won't do that. And then we'll try something. If my wife doesn't like it,
but we got a babysitter from 6 till whenever. So we can do that, actually. Sun goes down around 8.
Okay.
You can pull that off.
By the beach. Yeah, I can pull it off.
All right. Do you have that many dolphins like close by?
Yeah, we're walking past the Matanzas River. It's a seawater river, and literally just saw a pot of dolphins like jumping out of the water right next to us as we're walking.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Really awesome. And they got it because it's a very pirate themed city. So there's like a pirate ship, the Black Raven, and there's the pirate museum, and there's a bunch of shit like that. It's pretty
cool. That's cool. All right. So did you have an idea before the dolphin cruise, or what were you thinking?
I hadn't. It was on my to-do list this week was to figure something out, to do something a little bit different to our normal date nights. I hadn't thought of a boat cruise. I actually like that idea. Look at you.
Yes, my wife hates boats, so like we're going. I'm taking. It's I guess technically it's a work event. Like, we had guys, like people that qualified for a thing. We're taking it over to Fire Island, which is kind of not from Long Island, but it's kind of like I guess you could say almost like a mini Jersey Shore-ish type thing, right? There's like a bunch of little parks, and this place has got a restaurant, and this one's got a restaurant, but all different beaches. Everybody's got like houses, stuff there. People actually live there. So you take it over to the restaurant. We have like a lobster and steak cruise. So it's like, it's an all-you-can-eat lobster and steak cruise that we're taking everybody. And my wife's supposed to go, and she's like, I don't want to go. I hate the boat. I'm like, all right. So nice. I guess that's so dolphin cruise is off. So we can't do that.
Does she get seasick or?
Yeah, she gets seasick. So that's why we've never actually been on a cruise. That has been one of the things.
Gotta pump up that Dramamine.
Yeah, there we go.
I know. That's what I said, but I don't know. She's just
that doesn't work for everyone though, and that's a shit place to be if it doesn't work.
That's her problem. She's like, I don't want it to like not work if it does. So she's gonna have to try it, I guess, small scale first. Maybe do like a 1 day dolphin cruise, maybe before we go on. Because her dad's on a big cruise right now, and he's going to Alaska. And I was like, oh, I want to go. So, but she's like, nope, don't want to go. So I might have to go alone.
Sorry, I'm screwing with my little fan down here because I just realized you can probably hear it in the background.
Yeah, no, I think we were good.
No, yeah,
maybe in the back.
I was gonna say, my wife was. It was funny we brought this up because she just texted me the other night, and she's like, usually she's booked on weekends for her shooting weddings and her photography business, and she was like, by the way, I have that weekend off, so plan something. I was like, shit, because I'm not a planner. I think it was 2 years ago. She found this place kind of in like rural Virginia, and it was they own like hundreds of acres, and it's kind of on the mountainside. And she booked. They have an old Airstream that they kind of put up on the. You know what an Airstream is? Like the old school, like all aluminum camper. And yeah, they put it up on the side of the mountain or whatever, and it ran off like solar power, and there's a little propane heater that was in it. And so we stayed up there for the weekend. And I mean, it was all right. It was nice to get away. I like being kind of in the outdoorsy, even though that was kind of glamping. But we made like a fire every night and chilled by the fire, and we're like looking at the stars and shit. So now I've got to, now I've got to plan something. I'm in the same boat as Luke. I'm like, what the hell do we do?
Yeah, we're all in the same boat there because I don't know. We were talking about it the other day too, right? And we've always planned to do something big every year, and then we never end up doing anything big every year. It's like
we talk about it, and then
our big one's next year. That's our 10-year anniversary.
Okay,
I know what I'm doing for that. I can't say it on this in case she watches this episode, but I know what I'm doing.
That's true. So what you should do is just screw it up this year, so next year's even more special.
Set the bar low.
Yeah. Totally surprised.
That's my norm.
Yeah.
How long you guys been married?
Let's see. This will be our 7th year. Yeah, right? Yeah, we got married in 2016. So yeah, that's 7.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be our 6th, so we got married in 17.
Look at us.
And then
wait, how long have you been married? You said it earlier. 9? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
10 years together. Decade, man. It's just shows how old we are.
Yeah. Goes quick. So what are some ideas, right, that maybe you've done in the past that some of our listeners might be like, hey, you know what? Listen, they might have something. I'm sure there's some people that aren't planning either, right? Some ideas that have been good for you in the past.
I put that pressure on me, man.
I
don't think I've done anything that's been like right home.
Yeah, I would say the best. Do something that makes you feel young again, like something you would have done for like fun before kids, like maybe right after you were married, just after that honeymoon phase where fireworks are still going off left and right. I feel like people stop doing that kind of stuff, man. You stop doing stuff that like makes you kind of giddy like a kid,
Mm-hmm.
No, we still kids.
Yeah. State fairs are starting to pop up. If you got a state fair coming up soon, that's always fun. I mean,
yeah, we've done a couple of those. We had a good time. We went to go see a Nickelback concert at the one state fair.
Nickelback.
Don't eat me before. Don't chew me out.
Nick's gonna like that.
God. All right, we gotta find some new people for this group immediately. Because we gotta get rid of Luke now. Why does everyone hate Nickelback fans? I don't even know why people hate Nickelback fans.
I don't understand.
I just know I should hate them too, and I don't know why.
I think it's more just one of those jokes that nobody gets and that everybody just goes with it type thing.
I think they were even in our wedding, in our music playlist was Nickelback.
Nice.
I can't name one song, but I bet you if I heard them, I would enjoy
that one is like, look at this photograph. You know that one. Yeah. That's like a meme TikTok thing now. And then he holds up like a picture of something fucking ridiculous that somebody edited in.
His friend that died.
That's the only song I know, though. Yeah, if you ask me anything
That was
else,
really good, Nick. You
thanks.
should join
Yeah,
Alex's
do that
band.
again?
I didn't want to belt it because my neighbor's probably like in his yard, like, what the fuck's that guy doing in his shed, like singing Nickelback?
Start a band.
No, I used to do the music thing, man. And then a couple buddies moved away to different states. Buddies had kids, just didn't have the time to do it. I miss it. I mean, I miss playing music, and we didn't really do any major touring, but we took one big trip kind of up the East Coast, up to New York and back down to this way. But it was good.
Okay.
It was good times, but trying to practice, trying to write, having
What
kids.
sort of music did you guys do?
What's that?
What sort of music did you guys do?
It was like a progressive kind of indie rock. So we had
Not country.
no. I mean, we had some slightly harder stuff, but it definitely wasn't metal or like hard rock or anything. But yeah, it was a good time. What's that?
Sing us a song?
No, I'm not singing you shit.
What did you play, or did you sing?
I started off as the drummer, and then our original singer moved down to Florida. We picked up another guy we were friends with who took his spot singing, and then he too left. And so, in kind of our area, musician-wise, it was easier for us to find a good drummer than it was to find another good vocalist. So I ended up doing vocals for like probably the last 2 years we were together. So,
nice.
But it wasn't like a crazy transition because I had always sang backup vocals even when I was the drummer. So
we should have
an episode of any albums or anything like that, or was it just?
So we released one. We released one album, and then we started recording the second one. And right when we were done recording, before everything kind of got edited down, was when we did our little farewell show here in Richmond. So we never released the second one. The second one would have actually been pretty sweet, but we didn't release it.
Did you release
Get the band back
We did
together,
a really
fellas.
sweet. Every show we usually try to play like one cover, and some of them we just did straight covers. Some of them we'd like throw our weird spin on them. And we actually did. We covered Wrecking Ball for our last show, and we did like a pop punk kind of cover of Wrecking Ball, which was funny as shit. There's video of that somewhere. I can't find it, but I know it's on YouTube somewhere. But that was pretty hilarious.
Did you guys release an album? No, what is the album called?
The one we released, I think it was called Windows Painted Black. But like when we released that, iTunes wasn't super huge. I think it might be on like SoundCloud, but we probably printed like 100 something CDs, and I still have like 3/4 of that fucking box in my house today.
Send it out.
Every now and again, my wife and I will be like, we'll be like, we gotta clean some shit up and like declutter the house, and I'll come across it and I'll take a fucking picture of it and like send it to all the jackasses we played with.
You and Alex could hook up and make a little Tons of Dads album.
I don't know if I can do it anymore, man. It's a tough lifestyle.
Yeah, big time.
I'm sure.
So I don't.
Me and Luke will be the dancers in the background.
Do it. You can be the.
I could cheer that place up.
You can be the groupies. You got to be right up front.
That's it.
Drooling.
That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like Chris would be good at like doing the lights. Like he would be like a crazy like light show.
Nice.
Like doing an awesome job doing the shows.
No, I mean it was fun.
All right,
it was fun. You just can't fucking do it anymore.
Nick, for my anniversary, can you play us a song?
No. I don't play guitar. I've always wanted to play guitar. I own an acoustic guitar, and I can do like.
You believe in it?
Huh? Yeah, no, like I can play a few chords, but I always get too fucking frustrated. So I can like play a chord here or there, but I can't put a bunch of chords together and make it an actual song without it sounding like shit. But I've always wanted, because I mean, I have a singing voice, I can sing, but I've always wanted to be able to play guitar so I can actually write a song, because you can't write a song and lyrics to just drums. That's fucking weird. But I always get too frustrated and bail out. So
you rapped, you could.
So no, I can't write you a song. I could probably refer you to someone who could.
Acapella is fine. Acapella is fine.
Acapella. My wife listens to that shit. It drives me fucking.
Some of it's really cool.
Every holiday season, it's like acapella holiday hits, and I'm like, I really don't want to listen to a bunch of people fucking beatbox and "Here Comes Santa Claus," and singing over it. That's not my jam. That's funny, but people pay for that shit.
I gotta get it's crazy.
Hold on, say that again because the video just lagged on my end.
It is pretty crazy though.
Yeah, I have so much respect for anyone who sings or performs in front of an audience, because
that's where free beer from the venue comes into play. Talent juice.
That's where, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big step for a lot of people to step up and do, and then some people just take to it like water, and other people like freak out about it. But it's awesome.
I mean, I'm not like one of those that wants to be like the center of attention by any means, and I really don't. I mean, I'm not super outgoing when meeting new people and stuff, but yeah, for some reason, performing's never been an issue for me. I don't know if it's kind of different because it's almost like this persona you take on, so it's easier.
Right.
But that's like, I don't know why it's never bothered me. But I've played in like groups with people where it really kind of gets to them. And I've seen bands where it gets to them, and it's like, if that's you, where like performing in front of people is not your shit and you're trying to do it, it's like you can read it on somebody. Yeah. It's like straight deer in the headlights, or just like standing stiff as hell.
If we're out and there's a karaoke bar or something going on, she's like, "Oh shoot,
fuck.
I'm up there." Even if you're drinking coffee, like up she goes and sings her songs and shit. And I'm like,
Joe's pinging us. We've been on a tangent too long. At least it's not food again. But I don't know. I don't know. Anniversary ideas. I don't know. I just suck at planning that stuff. So if my wife doesn't do it, it just doesn't get planned.
For me, I got the babysitter, so I've done like 80% of the planning there. My wife will be happy just getting away from like the house.
I don't even know what we've done the last few years. I can't even think of it.
I mean, we don't make a big deal out of it.
Dinner and
I think that's like, we're simple. We really are.
There's been a couple years we've just like stayed in, and I'll like cook something nicer for dinner. We'll actually watch a movie together for once instead of like her trying to edit photos while I'm watching Discovery Channel or some shit.
Our tradition for it's not anniversary, but Valentine's Day was where, everybody, what does everybody do for Valentine's Day? Go out to eat.
Yeah.
So we were always like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait online, sit somewhere for 3 hours, make reservations. So our tradition is we stop at like 5 different fast food places and just get all the crap food that we want to get all the time.
That's funny.
And then we come home and then we eat that. So we get like KFC, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Checkers, and we get like different stuff. Like half of it's like, the next day, but she'll eat the coleslaw from KFC, but she won't eat the French. Right? And then she wasn't eating chicken for a while. So I'd eat all the chicken, but then it would be like, all right, she wants the burger from McDonald's, take like 3 bites. It was just like a concoction of, all these different fast food. Oh, it was terrible, but amazing at the same time.
That's funny. Oh, shit, I forgot. I was going to say something, and then I forgot it. I'll think of it here in a second. Oh, no. You were talking about the Valentine's Day like thing and waiting. One time I did one of those like fancy Valentine's Day, like X amount per person, and you get 5 fucking courses and a bottle of wine. It was the worst food I've ever had. And I was like, I am never, like, the service was absolute shit because they know they were already making money off you. I was like, I'm never doing this again.
I got Valentine's.
Yeah.
I'm probably my wife's work. She like works in jewelry for 12 years, so to her Valentine's is like a thing because everyone comes to the jewelry stores on Valentine's, and I used to work in hospitality, so I didn't give a shit about Valentine's. So.
My wife is not a big jewelry person, and I'm kind of glad she's not.
Yeah,
no,
mine not neither.
She
Besides those Pandora things,
I was gonna say that's what she has, and I've run out of charms that are like relative to her lifestyle. But that's all she like.
We've been together. We've been together now or more than 10 years, and I have never bought, besides the Pandora, I've never bought her one piece of jewelry.
I take that back. I bought her a necklace.
Screw you guys.
This was for our wedding, so you get her like a gift for like the pre-wedding that she opens when they're all like getting ready.
Yeah.
And I got her like, it was like a heart with some diamonds around it, I think, and then it had like a dangly diamond in the middle that was supposed to like represent the heartbeat or whatever.
Wait, so you got her a gift before the wedding?
You didn't do that?
No, the wedding was there.
Yeah, well, I don't remember if it was her idea. It was probably her idea, and probably something she saw on Pinterest where she was like,
"It's the same. We had our first kid. The guy she works with, he's like,
the push gift.
Gotta get her,
yeah,
and I'm like,
a push gift, yeah.
If I could get her a piece of jewelry because she's having a kid, I'm like, what kind of piece of jewelry is going to compare to having a kid? Like, dumbest I've ever heard.
That's funny.
And I was just like, no,
it's just a freaking American society.
Shit. Yeah.
Let's consume. Like, it's Tuesday. You got to get a gift. Like,
that's like the women that have multiple kids, and now everyone's like, no, it's perfectly fine to have 4 actual baby showers. And people are like, no, you have a fucking baby shower, and then you have sprinkles where you get together with your girls, but it's not a big to-do because you've already had the baby shower.
Yeah.
And people just invent shit, man.
A lot of mothers who agree with you on that.
Yeah. I don't it's that's like all the holidays now where it's like International Donut Day or International Pancake Day.
Yeah.
But
when did you guys meet?
What's that? That's what I was gonna say.
When did you guys meet?
So let's see. For real, for my wife and I, it's kind of a funny story because
he was the groupie at your band.
No. So all right, the first time we met, but we didn't really realize it, we were both working for Starbucks, and we were it was on a weekend, and we were doing a volunteer event for this group, Hands On Richmond. And basically they go out and do like little community service type projects. And she was actually there to take pictures for Starbucks. She worked for Starbucks, but she was taking pictures. So we met there. We introduced ourselves to each other, and then just kind of went about our way. It didn't really click. And then it was probably like a year or 2 after that, I was still at Starbucks, and she was working at a restaurant right down the street. And she would come before she went in for her shift, she would come into our store, get coffee, and she was good friends with this dude that I worked with. And so finally she asked the guy I worked with, and she was like, what's this guy's deal? Like, is he seeing anybody? And so he was like, no, I don't think so. And so I'm oblivious, and she'll tell it, like, she'll get pissed to this day because she'll think somebody's flirting with me, and I have absolutely no fucking clue that somebody's flirting with me. And so she tried like flirting with me, and me being me, was oblivious, ignored it. And then one night she finally was just like, hey, let's fucking get together. And so I went down and met her down at her apartment downtown, and from there we just kind of started hanging out. And then I think it was a year after we started dating was when we got married. So it was pretty freaking quick. Yeah. I think it was a year, might have been 2 years, but yeah, it was kind of a funny story. We had bumped into each other all over these random places, but it was like third time was a charm when she finally started coming into my store.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
We we met in college. Wasn't anything crazy. She was the roommate of one of the guys that lives on our floor, like girlfriend or boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, so there was this girl Colleen that was roommates with my wife Amanda, and Colleen was dating this kid Mike that like hung out with us all the time on our floor. And they came over and hung out. It was college, so you'd pregame, you'd go to the bar, forget everything that happened that night, and basically did that a few times. But I think it was like the first time she came over. We were playing like that, when you play those games. What was the game? Kings? Is that the name?
Yeah, Kings, asshole, bullshit. One of those.
Yeah. So what was it? Number 8 is pick a mate, right? That's like one of the rules. Well, the 8. Oh yeah. So I kept that, and I made sure I gave her light because that's what we drank in college.
And Natty Light.
Yeah, Natty Light, and she ate all my snacks. She was like, she always has to snack when she drinks. Like still to this day, she always has snacks. I had like almonds and Cheez-Its and oatmeal squares.
Bar
and she was like eating all of them. I'm like, what the hell? So I remember, we hung out that one time, and then we didn't talk for like months after. And then it was like, went home for like Thanksgiving break. And I remember I woke up the next morning and I had like a box of Cheez-Its next to me. And I was like, let me text that girl, man, that I woke up with Cheez-Its and stuff. And that kind of started the whole conversation. And then,
that's great.
And that was it.
Wait, so was this like freshman year? You said you were going to bars, so I'm assuming after that.
It was my senior year,
okay.
And then she's 2 years younger than I am.
Okay,
but I was a super senior. We did the 5-year plan.
Nice.
So we did. We did
too much
3
bar
years.
Hopping for Joe.
Yeah, there's a little too much of that. It was, our first college was the 3 years. Take whatever class fit into the soccer schedule.
Yeah,
that was it. Hey, when I was out by 1:30 and was got ready for practice, and then the last 2 years were a blur.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Luke,
I came out with a wife, so
I know you got a good story, Luke.
I don't know. We were both working on luxury yachts, so between Bahamas, Caribbean, and West Palm Beach, and then both our boats were at the marina, and there's someone had arranged like a crew party or something at the local bar, the crew bar, and the only 2 seats left we ended up sitting next to each other, kind of just randomly. And then I hadn't seen her yet because my back was to her, and I heard her, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And knew instantly, like, I'm in trouble.
I heard it, so I came outside.
No, like, she's literally sitting behind me, like, and then I turned and looked at her, and I was like, "Oh shit, definitely in trouble." And then we hit it off right away, and I walked back to my boat with the stewardess from our yacht. I was like, "I just met the woman I'm going to marry," and she's like, "Oh, shut up." I'm like, "Nope, no doubt about it." And then both our boats went off on the charters or whatever. Came back like a month or 2 later. Not a month, because we met in July. Came back in August, and we met up again, and just hit it off right away. She was seeing a dude at the time.
You homewrecker, you.
No, I just went like that. I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry to say, like, you can't trust me around it because like I'm really into it." And he turned around to me. He's like, "Well, we could share it if you like." I was like, "No, I don't think you."
That's the trend in the dad groups.
And that ain't happening. And we hit it off, and then August 31st was official.
August 30th. Dude, you got these dates nailed. I get in trouble for not knowing stuff like that.
We got married the day before, a year later.
Oh, okay.
So August 30th, we got married. Parents' wedding anniversary. So I'll always remember our wedding anniversary. It works out great.
Actually, you guys both got married quick, a year from dating.
We were engaged 7 months later, married 5 months later.
Yeah. So I was actually so before I met my wife, I was engaged like 4 years before that to I won't even talk about her, but She was a major d-bag, and that didn't work out. So yeah, by the time I had finally like decided, Jen was someone I wanted to be with, like I had already got all the like screwing
Did you say
around.
Jim?
Jen. Yeah, Jim. um
That's kind of weird.
yeah, so by the time like I met her and we hit it off, I had like gotten all the childish silly kind of shit out of the way, so I knew like exactly what I was looking for. And like one of the things that kind of drew me to her immediately, because I have a stepdaughter, and I think it was like when we first met, we were up on the rooftop of her apartment building, and one of the like first things she said to me was that like, "Yo, just let you know, I have a daughter." Um, and to me, that was actually in my wedding vows, like how important that was to me that she was just 100% honest about that. Because I like told me that like, she makes her daughter a priority, and anybody she's gonna, date or whatever, needs to understand that that's a priority, and it's a responsibility kind of thing. So that
How old
was,
is the daughter at the time?
shoot, at the time, she moved here when she was 7 or 8, because she was still living with Jen's mom back in California at that point. Because Jen hadn't been in Richmond long, so she's still trying to establish everything here. But I want to say she was maybe, it was probably a year. She was probably 5 or 6. I want to say.
Cool.
But yeah, that was. I'm 99% sure that was one of the, if not the first thing that like she said when we sat down and started talking, was like, "Hey, like I'm just letting you know I have a daughter," and I thought that was pretty cool. So, but yeah, after like being engaged and that not working out, like I was pretty particular about who I even talked to after that.
Yeah.
That was just
So you knew kind of.
yeah, that was just a shit time in my life. But at the same time, it allowed me to be able to reflect and be like, all right, this is like what I don't fucking want. So yeah, but it was pretty quick turnaround.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew right away. Like I know it's cliche, the whole love at first sight, but I guess I was like love at first hearing, because I heard a voice. I was like, oh shit,
If
and then saw it, and it's like, well, sweet.
yeah, I'll tell you another. It's another how did you meet kind of funny story. So right after she had talked to my buddy, and my buddy was like, no, he's not seeing anyone. She's like, well, we should hang out. And so it was like that weekend or the next weekend, my buddy and I were supposed to be taking a climbing trip to West Virginia. And I was like, all right, maybe she likes outdoors and camping and shit. And so I was like, hey, like, we're going to go climbing in West Virginia. Do you want to go with us? And my buddy, my tires on my car were like fucking bald. So I couldn't drive. And at that point, I was like, I can't afford new tires. So he drove us in this like, his car looked good on the outside, but when you got in, you were like, man, this car's got some mechanical issues. And so we were trying to make it to where we were going to climb, and his car ends up taking a shit. And yeah, I think at that point we were like 3 hours away from home. The two most redneck dudes I've ever met came and like towed us and took us to a hotel. But that was like her first real taste of me and my goofiness. And we were stuck in a hotel room. I think it was 2 nights. Because I didn't have any friends that could come and get us. And his roommate, she couldn't come and get us till like, for whatever reason, she had to work, I think. And so she was stuck in a hotel room. I mean, we were all broke as shit. So it was me, her, and my buddy Alex, and we were all stuck in a hotel room for 2 nights together. And that was like, she was just fully immersed in our shenanigans and bullshit. And it was
welcome,
yeah, exactly.
welcome to the rest of your life.
Yeah. And so he's there.
Hey, listen, if you're gonna find out right away.
And so he's there, and that like made it even more awkward, because like that's when I basically like started telling her I had feelings for her or whatever, but I wouldn't fucking tell her. I would like text it to her across the room, because we're all in the same fucking room. and we'd both fucking giggle about it. But to this day, we still talk about like how crazy she was for like she had just met me, and she's like, all right, let's go camping for the weekend in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia.
Yeah.
And all that shit ended
So
up happening.
I gotta ask this question then, right? So your stepdaughter's how old?
So she's 18 now. Yeah, she'll be
18.
yeah, she'll be 19 next year.
If that story flipped around and she said, "Hey, I'm going to West Virginia
Dude,
camping with some guy I just met at the start."
yeah, so our daughter, she's we'll say she's a unique individual. She is very strong-willed, just like Jen is. So I mean, she's she wants to stay in Roanoke with her grandma right now, and she's dating a guy there. And immediately once she graduated, they all kind of got an apartment together. And it's like kind of some of the things we talked about, where we tried to shelter her from certain things in the world, and we've tried to steer her away from stuff. But it's just kind of to the point where she's so strong-willed that Jen and I are like, I don't know what the hell to do. Like, if she fucks up, she's gonna have to learn, and it's gonna be a growing pain. And she'll text Jen something every now and again about her roommates, and we're like, yeah, well, we told you it's not all sunshine and rainbow when you got four people with four different, trying to live together, and it's a different life.
How long you guys been together?
Who, Jen and I? So from the dating period, I think it's been 9 years total, but married, this will be our 7th year married.
How do you guys keep the romance going?
Shit. I think we touched on this. I think we touched on this before, dude.
Put him on the spot, dude.
We've had some legitimate yeah, not to throw my wife under the bus, but I mean, we've had some legitimate like heartburn about that exact topic. Just given her like editing schedule. I mean, literally, she does weddings on weekends. Some weekends it'll be Saturday, Sunday. Some it'll be just Saturday. Some it'll be just Sunday. But then the people that like when you book a photographer, you don't realize that, oh, they took pictures and they're just going to send them to me. No, I mean, they have to go home and cull through the images, edit, touch up, you name it. And so they're working for like that 2-month period where they tell you, hey, it's going to take me this long to get them to you. And so she'll be, I mean, shit, she was up till, I don't even know when she came to bed last night because I was freaking out. But that's just the nature of that business, is that, and her working the other full-time job, is that she'll be working late at night. So we've had some serious heartburn about like, how do we keep the romance going? Because I'm not going to stay up till 2 a.m. To get in some sexy time, because then that affects my day the following day, and I feel like shit. And so we've had some talks about it. And I think in one of the other episodes I mentioned, I don't remember where the idea was from, but I was like Googling shit about how to keep the romance going or whatever. And one of them was like schedule a time. And so I kind of pitched that out there, and I got so much shit for pitching that out there. And she's like, well, we're married. We shouldn't have to schedule a time. And I'm trying to, and you know what I mean too. I'm not saying like, all right, we're going to book Thursday night at 9:00. We're going upstairs. Like, that's not what I meant. And that's probably how it came across, which is probably why she was like, what the fuck? But you know what I mean? Like, you have, when your life's that crazy and your schedules are kind of that opposite, that's where we struggle, is how do you make it just happen? And everyone will say, well, if the romance is there, it's there. And I mean, when you're fighting exhaustion, you have a workload that you have to get done, it's tough to do. So honestly, how do I keep it going? It's like hit or miss with us. It's just something we constantly struggle.
If you commit to a commitment, whatever, in your week that you put in your calendar, whatever, you're making that a priority. So why wouldn't it be okay to make your marriage a priority and commit to a time together? Not even just for sexy time, but just to be together, for intimacy or for conversation or whatever. Like people, like I know we've had the same thing. My wife's like, I'm your wife. We shouldn't have to book appointments with each other. It's not about
let me pencil you in for Thursday.
It's about blocking that time off so no one else can book anything. And we know that we've committed to this time together so that we can do something. And because we know it's happening at that time, we can then plan to do whatever we want. Most things romantic take a little bit of planning to put together. But I know that, not say woman, but like my wife and sounds like your wife, they don't like the idea of making an appointment with
they don't want to be like a time on a schedule.
Yeah, they don't want to be like another appointment that you have like with work. It's like I'm not a client. I'm your
I book my morning routine in my calendar. Like I've got everything in my calendar. So for me, it's a case of not that. It's a case of I need to know that I can't book anything at that time. So I don't even have to say time with wife. I could just block it out unavailable, so that it's not an appointment.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm making sure that time is exclusively for her, so she can have my undivided attention, then you get into like, oh, well, maybe that sounds okay, because now she knows that you're going to be present with her during that time. Phone's going to be on silent, no appointments, no work stuff, and you can go out, you can stay in, you can get a babysitter or whatever. But it helps. It really freaking helps. When
so maybe just not saying, hey, we're going to book a time to do this. It's like, I'm not putting it, but just do it and just say, hey, I didn't book anything else during this time. It's just going to be you.
Book a movie. You make reservations for dinner. You book everything you do. You book a haircut. You book a car service. You book trip away. Everything you schedule. Yeah. Literally everything. So why would it be any different for something that is so important?
It's sad, because that you have to, but it is true because we've all gone through the the sayings where you're with your people you work with more than you are with your family.
Yeah, you got your work wife and your work husband.
Yeah, because you're with them 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
My God, I would never use that phrase in my house.
Yeah.
Unless I have a work wife.
Not literally.
Yeah, we don't use that. I mean, I'm kind of a lot of times it's working by myself anyway, so I don't have to go through that. But it's either that or in a big setting of people. But that could definitely get people in trouble.
Yeah,
that could definitely get people in trouble.
You can also do other little things. I think where like leaving little notes or little thank you notes or little notes of appreciation scattered in like under a pillow or in a laptop or somewhere where she's going to find it when you're not together.
That's a good
Those little things are really good for just like making her smile and feel all warm and fuzzy kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of those things, like the unexpected things, help keep things, because it's a feeling, right? And that's really is like I actually have a cleaning person coming to the house tomorrow morning to do a deep cleaning of the house.
There's your anniversary gift idea right there.
You're getting late tomorrow night.
I should have, but I did it a little early just for the heck of it, and
we've been talking about getting somebody.
You've just given me a great idea, Joe. Thank you.
There you go. Well, I think you gave me that idea months ago, so I was just giving it back to you. I was just reminding you of your knowledge that you gave us.
See, we listen to each other here on Time to Die.
That's it. I think I screenshotted it in there, but now listen, hopefully, right? That's like one of those things. All right, great. It makes them feel good. It takes a load off what they're thinking about. Just like if somebody took a load off, maybe like work or something, and it makes you feel better. And now, hey, that's one less thing you have to do. So now you have more time later in the day. And
and it's also, I mean, I know something that's worked well for me is I will listen to she'll be like, oh, I really love this necklace or whatever. Granted, it's jewelry, but she loved this book or whatever. And then I'd get that book for her because it was just a comment she is sort of almost a throwaway comment. But the fact that she then gets it to see and she feels heard, and that means a lot to women. Like
that's like one of those movie things where it's like in the beginning of the movie they point out a book, and then at the end of the movie they buy it for them.
Yeah,
that's good.
My wife just tells me it's nice talking to a door when I'm when I'm not paying attention to her. She gets so pissed. It's funny.
And was it saying you make a better door than a
Yeah,
window?
well, that's when you like can't see around
Can't
somebody,
see,
but
right?
yeah, similar.
Yeah.
No, she'll put I get on her so much because she'll put random crap on her like Amazon list, and come like Christmas or something when I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to get her, I'll go on there and order it. And I swear there was like 3 Christmases in a row I got her shit, and she's like, I already have this. I already have this. And so I like got to the point, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to get you shit because everything on your list is old stuff that you never removed. And she'll buy it and I'll just never know she even bought it because a lot of it's like camera stuff for her business and stuff. It drives me friggin' nuts. But I don't know.
Otherwise, you can surprise her. If you're going to like real hardcore, you surprise her with a trip away where she doesn't know it until you're going away.
Yeah, that was kind of like what she did for that Airstream trip we took. Like I knew we were going somewhere, but I had no clue what we were doing. I just knew we were traveling a little ways away, and we were staying overnight a couple nights. But I didn't know until we like drove up the mountainside, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
She out-romanced you, huh?
She did. No, she's the planner, man. Like I don't know. I don't plan that kind of stuff. And it's not really an issue with like not knowing what she'd like to do because we have a lot of similar interests. I mean, we both like the outdoors, hiking, crap like that. It's just I'm not a planner at all. I like to do.
That's what'll blow away even more if you do plan something.
Like when it comes to work, I've got to have everything perfectly scheduled out and planned and know what the hell I'm doing for the week. But when it comes to like home and romance and stuff like that, I'm 100% sporadic. Like fly by the seat of my pants. Like whatever happens. I just don't. I don't know. I don't plan that stuff. Yeah. So. But speaking of planning, I think we can go a little bit longer, maybe squeeze this topic in. But kind of on the note of planning, this is kind of going to 180 from the other topics we were talking about. But I know planning for like planning a family comes up a lot in the dad groups, and guys asking, how do I know when it's the right time? Or my situation is XYZ. Like, do you think I'm ready or we're prepared enough? What's your
never ready, never prepared?
Yeah,
never
I was
the
gonna
right
say,
time.
what's your takes on that?
This experience in the world, you'll never regret it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer. Like everybody wants to be financially ready, and everybody wants to be this ready. I think it's more ready of how is your relationship at the time,
dude. That's
right, because
that's crazy.
You're going to bring in.
I think what a lot of people don't do is discuss what their values are when it comes to raising kids. And if you are on opposite ends on what your values are for raising kids, you're going to struggle because you can't have two parents doing two different things because that kid's going to be like it's just going to mess them up. Like you got to be
you got to have good cop, bad cop though.
You can have good cop, bad cop, but if one person says that's not okay, and the other one's like, absolutely, it is okay.
Dude, our son has mastered that right now.
Yeah, then it becomes a problem.
He is such a little butthead. Like, I'll be working outside or something. I'll go inside. He'll have already asked mom XYZ, and she's like, no, we're not going to do that. And then I come in, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so. That's fine. I mean, he's not asking anything outlandish, but like, maybe he acted up. So she said, no, you can't, play your Nintendo Switch for half an hour or whatever. But then I'll come in and not knowing the situation, we'll just be like, yeah, okay, buddy. And then I get freaking chewed out. Like, mom just said no. So then I have to be like, all right, well, mom said no. And then he loses his ass about it. So that's pretty funny. But I don't know that we planned, like we didn't write out a calendar of here's when we're having kids, but I mean, we kind of set some goals for what we wanted to have in place. So like at the time we were living in the city, which the house was okay, the location was okay, it was central, but the school system was absolute shit. So like on our bucket list of getting to where we thought we were prepared was getting out of that house, making sure we were in a good school district. even though, I mean, it's 5 years down the road before he was going to be in, like he's in pre-K now. That was one of our goals, was to just make sure we were in a good neighborhood, a good school district. And then, I mean, everything else, I don't think you can plan. Like, I don't think you can say we need to be making X amount for each of our salaries.
You can't get ready for it. Like, emotionally and mentally, like, it's just, you don't know what it is.
No.
I had a kid at 17, and then Mel was like, she doesn't want kids. And then we spoke about me getting the snip, and I was like, she's like, yeah, go for it. Like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, I don't know if you know what you don't know what you don't know when you don't have kids. And that's not saying if you don't want kids that you're wrong. Cool, if you don't want kids, whatever. But I just felt with Lana, she's didn't know what she didn't know. So I was like, well, let's just hold off. We'll leave it in sort of fate's hands, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then she, obviously she fell pregnant, and the doctor said, just be careful, because just after giving birth, she's very fertile. I'm like, yeah, cool. She is very fertile just after giving birth. So 11 months later, we had our next kid.
Nice.
And then unplanned. All our kids were unplanned, basically. And then we had a miscarriage of twins, and that was pretty heart-wrenching. And then 2 years later, we had twins, kind of thing. So also just by chance. And then they were C-section, and then the doctor removed all the tubes and things. So now we plan to never have any more children. Yeah. The only thing we planned.
Yeah. That's one thing we did agree on. I mean, I wanted a son for sure. If we had a little girl, we may have said, all right, let's try again. But we had Emerson, right? And so we both kind of were like, I'm good. Like, we don't need any more kids, kind of thing. So that was the only kind of thing we planned. But I mean, I think people just read too much in planning, and they start reading these books that are like, you've got to have this in place. And I think that's part of finding out, where you are as a couple, is
part of the
going through that process.
But you bond a lot through the struggle,
or you fall apart. I mean, that's the scary part too. Is
that's why I think it's so important. You got to be emotionally ready to get.
You got to have those conversations in the beginning, in the dating stage, kind of thing.
But but how do you prepare for women are hormonal as hell when they're carrying a child, right? That's really? Science. Cool. I mean, it's fact. And how do you prepare for that? I mean, you can't prepare for that. And that's the thing. Like, how do you prepare to test your relation? And some guys are like, yeah, my wife was a breeze, like didn't have any issue. And other guys are like, I'm ready to move out of the house. My wife is just so
I think that
crazy.
Depends on the individual sometimes too, though. That's
well, that's the thing. So
if you're in a better headspace and mentally yourself, you can take more hormones from the spouse, right?
Yeah.
Think about it, when you're in a negative mood and then that person brings in that negativity, what does that do? It just makes it 10 times worse. If you're in a great mood and someone comes in negative, you can help more patience because you're in such a good headspace. But if you're not in a good headspace mentally yourself.
Yeah.
I think Joe's having another child.
Joe's planning.
So big news. We
are you joking?
We actually yesterday, we have not told everybody yet, but
yesterday.
Nice. We just had the 8-week sonogram
you
yesterday.
heard it here first on Time to Dad.
That's it.
Oh, that's great, man. Congrats. Awesome.
Congrats,
yeah, thank you.
I thought you were going to be joking with us for a second.
No. So not planned, but sort of planned. We're planning soon, but this happened sooner.
Nice.
Than we were thinking. But it's kind of
man. Congrats.
That's it.
Man, see, those other dudes missed that on here.
Yeah.
I know. They'll find out when they listen.
Due date? You don't know yet, huh?
We don't know what it's going to be yet. So
when is the baby due?
March 31st.
March 31st. Nice.
Yeah, and I'm the 21st. of March, and she is a C-section as well. So there's a good chance that maybe we'll be able to push it up same day as me, or but I don't know. That's something I was like at first I was like, oh, that'd be cool. They have the same birthday. It's like, yeah, but then will they think that's cool having the same birthday as their dad? I don't know.
Yeah,
so I'll say not to detract from that awesome news, but I'll say if you're gonna plan something, I think one of the things to plan is your support system. I think no matter what kind of hot water you may get into with having a kid, if you have a good support system, and by that I mean like friends, family, relatives. If you have a good support system to lean on, like my mom and Jen's mom were godsends with helping us with Emerson, and my mom still is to this day with helping watch him after school. But I think that's one of the biggest things is do you have a support system? Like, are you isolated? Do you live across the country from all your friends and family? Did you just move somewhere else? So I think that's one of the biggest things that if you're going to plan on that. That piece of it. I still don't. I follow what you're saying about kind of planning for the right headspace and stuff. I think that could still be a little tricky, unless it's not your first child, where you kind of had to run and dude, listen, man, I was scared to death when Jen and I got together and we found out that her daughter was going to actually move here and live with us, because I didn't get to ease into like being a parent. It was just boom, you're a parent. And not only was I a parent, it was of a child that was coming up on her teenage years, which are pretty wicked if you haven't raised a daughter in her teenage years. I mean, there were some brutal days where it was some rough times, man. And so it was kind of like baptism by fire with raising her. And so that was an interesting aspect that a lot of people don't get to experience. Like as a new dad, first kid, you kind of ease into it. You figure shit out as you go. But Lily was old enough to where there wasn't time to figure it out. You had to learn and adjust way faster than I had to adjust to like learning to raise a toddler and a newborn and all that. It was some crazy times, and it was a great experience. I mean, going through it and looking back, there's obviously ups and downs like any other thing in your life. But looking back, I was like, whew. Some days I'm like, how the hell did we make it through that? Is all I'll say about it. So.
And Joe, any preferences, boy, girl?
We're both kind of hoping for a girl. Really? Yeah, we're. I think we want to have two. I think that's kind of where we want to stop. So if we have the girl, we'll have one of each, right? So we'll have the boy, we'll have the girl. So that we're excited for that. But I think if we had a boy, then I know growing up, I had a brother that was 2 years older than me, and we were best friends and still are to this day. So like, I know if we had a boy, I'm like, oh, that's awesome for them.
Yeah,
like that's awesome for them. But if we have a boy, I think down the line, then we might want to eventually try for a third. And then it's like, oh crap, there's 3 boys. Then it's like, oh man, do you try again? So it's like, that's why it's like, all right, if we have a girl, whatever happens for the rest of our lives happens. And then, then it's just, that's done with kind of thing.
Awesome. Super excited for you. That's awesome.
Thank you. So maybe we'll have like the birth on a podcast episode.
There we go.
I don't know if that'll get many views. Most dads are like, no, I don't want it. My wife was very clear when I was in the room. She's like, you don't come on the other side of this curtain. So I had to like stay up. And I don't know that I would have wanted to have been at the birthing end of everything. But yeah, she was like, no, you stay up that way. And I was like, okay, whatever you say, ma'am.
Yeah. I think everyone's different with that. Every woman's different on that. at first mine said that, and then I think as she started pushing, she was just like, God help me.
Dude,
And then
my wife had a horrible go of it with Emerson. They came in and they had the doctor come in and put a epidural in, right? And they put that shit in wrong. And yeah, and so she just kept like complaining about like a terrible friggin' pain in like her hip. And I mean, that was my first time being in a delivery room, and so I was just kind of like, okay. So I'm trying to massage her hip, and she's like, yeah, that's working. And it just got friggin' crazy unbearable to like, I mean, my wife's a tough ass woman. I've never seen her like that. And so finally they called, I don't know what you call the doctor that puts the epidural in, but they called him back in and they were like, oh yeah, that's not right. And they finally got it in right. But I mean, she was like dying, and I was just like, holy shit.
Every single birth that of my kids, I've been like, I'm so glad I'm a guy.
Yeah, no, it was freaking terrible.
Hats off to
Yeah.
But all right, hey guys. Well, I think we had some good topics. We had some more of our fun tangents on this one, but hopefully give guys some food for thought. Maybe focus on getting that spark going again and getting back to the romance side of things, and kind of leaving work and all the other worries behind for a night or a couple nights, whatever you could do.
Make more babies.
Yeah, exactly. Joe's got it down. He didn't share much about that. But no, congrats, Joe, and we can't wait to hear more about it as things progress.
Thanks, brothers.
So guys, like, subscribe, leave us some comments, join the Facebook group, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
All right.
Later, guys.
Peace out.